Hey. Hey. Oh my god. This is so awkward. Okay, this is a good exercise. You don't care about what anyone thinks. It's fine. I know people can see me, but oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. Why is doing YouTube so embarrassing? Hi guys, my name is Nihel. If you don't know who I am, this is probably either like a really good video to start with to get to know me, or maybe a really terrible one. I don't know. I really want this video to be sort of podcast style, so barely edited, just me talking, and hopefully this is something that you can watch while maybe getting ready or getting some cleaning done. There's a few YouTubers, like, I live for their content. It's like podcast style, and I'm always listening to them, like while driving. Obviously not with the video, but you know, just listening to the audio. And I kind of want this video to be like that. I asked you guys on my community tab. Actually, let's see what I wrote because it's been a few days. Okay, so a week ago I posted, I kind of want to do a super long, barely edited, honest chat about post-grad life, content creation. Why out of everywhere is this woman coming here? I kind of want to do a super long, barely edited, honest chat about post-grad life, content creation, living at home in your 20s, depression, anxiety, the pandemic, hustle culture, and more. I don't know if it's for everybody, but that's okay. For those of you interested, what other topics do you want to hear about, or if you want to share your experiences and opinions for any other topics, please do. And I think it was well received. It has 48 thumbs up, and that's crazy because usually my stuff on my community tab doesn't do that well. And I want to say, like, I cannot believe that I have a community tab. Before hitting 1,000 subscribers, I was so jealous of everyone who had a community tab, because if you don't know, you need to hit 100,000 subscribers. What? No, you need to hit 1,000 subscribers to get a community tab. And yeah, for a while I was under that and I couldn't have it, and now I feel so blessed that I have this place, and I definitely want to utilize it more because I don't know, it's so cool. Like, it's really cool. Okay, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. Why is you doing YouTube so embarrassing? Whatever, it's fine. Also, I want to put a trigger warning. I'm going to be talking about some sensitive topics such as depression and anxiety, but I will have some timestamps if you don't want to watch the whole thing, because I understand that maybe you're more interested in a topic than another, and that's totally fine with me. I really do not mind. So the first thing I want to talk about is post-grad life. Obviously, I've been finding it rough, but I'd say it's not as rough as college. I feel like I've talked about it here and there, but I've had a really hard time in college. College was not made for me. I don't think it was because it was super hard. I think it's just, it's the format of college. It was really stressful for me. Doing 3-hour long classes just wasn't for me. 4-hour long classes, like, nobody can be concentrated for that long. And I was also a commute student, so I wasted like 2 to 3 hours every single day in public transit. And I was also working a lot, so I had a lot going on during college, and I found it like just not that enjoyable. But I ended up making like some really great friends. I'm grateful for the whole experience, and you know, maybe in retrospect it wasn't suited for me, and also the program that I did wasn't suited for me, but I did it and I'm happy it's done with, and that's really great. But I'm definitely struggling now that I've graduated. So I graduated in the beginning of the pandemic. I graduated in May 2020. I was like a year, I guess, late, because I graduated when I was 23. I am now 24, for those of you wondering. I am old. I can't believe I'm considered old because, I don't know, I feel like I was 20 one day, I blinked, and now people on TikTok are telling me that I'm old. It's a lot to take in, and it's weird, but it is what it is. Postgrad is hard because, like I said, I barely made it out of college, and I was like, I don't know if I want to work in the field that I studied for. But then again, if I'm not working in that, then what am I gonna do? And then I found this amazing program that basically like allows you to teach French abroad, and you're getting paid for it. And I've always wanted to go on like a student exchange. I've always wanted to study abroad. That was my biggest dream ever. But when it actually came to me and like the opportunity came to me, I found that it was so expensive. And that is something about me, is I worry about money a lot. I don't like being in debt. With everything, I decided to skip on the study abroad program because I didn't want to get like, you know, $10,000 in debt just for like 1 semester abroad. And that was tough because obviously it was like saying goodbye to a dream. But when this opportunity came, it was like even better because you're kidding me? You're sending me abroad? I'm gonna be living abroad and teaching French? What the heck? That's so like cool and easy and perfect. But then the pandemic hit and, you know, non-essential traveling is not allowed, so the program ended up not happening. And I was home for a while, and at first it was kind of like a punishment just being home, because I obviously didn't want to be home. Like, for the first time in my life, I would have been on my own. I've been dreaming of like living alone and being independent for the longest time, and traveling around Europe sounded like amazing to me. And the fact that I wasn't able to like do that, that was just so sad and disheartening. So yeah, the first few months were definitely tough, but at the beginning of the pandemic, I feel like there was this really strong sense of community. Like, we were all on the same boat. Everybody was staying home. People were talking about social distancing. Like, it was really like, I get like emotional thinking back about the first few months of the pandemic because it truly feels like it was a different time. And I wish we could go back to that, because obviously we are still in a pandemic, but people are not taking it like half seriously as it was, and it was probably a lot less worse than it is right now. Like, numbers here personally for us, numbers have never been the highest. Well, I mean, numbers are the highest that they've ever been throughout this pandemic, and people are not taking it seriously like one bit. So sadly, that is what's happening. But yeah, being stuck at home, I felt like it was a punishment. Even though like I was telling myself, it's okay, like this door is closed, but maybe it's redirection for something. As much as I stayed to like try to be positive and, you know, take the good out of that situation, it was still like really tough, and I felt like I was being punished and taken away from this experience, and I felt like my youth was being stolen too. And yeah, that was tough. That was very tough on my mental health. But also at the beginning of the pandemic, that's when I really like, after graduating with school, obviously, that's when I started like going full force with YouTube, and I really poured my heart and soul into it, and it was great. I loved it. Like, that whole summer that I created videos, I was consistent on YouTube for the first time. It was amazing. So there's definitely some ups and downs. Some good things came out of that situation, but some bad things also came out of it, and I guess that's just life for you. It's hard because obviously, like, me being a 23-year-old living at home, being stuck at home, I feel like I'm failing, because I also grew up watching like a lot of YouTube, and like most of the people I followed were out of the house at 18. And for me, it was like, okay, if you're still in your 20s living in your parents' house, you're obviously like a failure, right? And it wasn't until like I saw, I think, a TikTok of a girl saying that she used to live by herself and she had to move back in with her parents when the pandemic hit. I was like, first of all, we are not in a normal situation. And second of all, there's no shame in being in your parents' house. First of all, I'm saving money. If anything, I'm making more money than ever before because I have all this time and I'm working. But yeah, that's the only positive I see from living at home. And obviously, you know, I get to spend time with my family. That's a given. Yeah, I love them so much. I'm not gonna say that I don't love them. I just feel like I'm at this point where I want to move out. Like, I really actively want to move out. I want to be on my own, and I think in order for me to grow into the person that I want to be, I need to be out of this house. But it's not possible right now, and I think I need to understand it, and I need to move on. Like, it's fine. My time will come when it will come. And all these people that I watched and that I envision having my life like them, all these influencers, they're not the majority. And I don't have the same money they have, certainly, and I don't have the same opportunities they have, and I need to understand that. I think that was hard, because if you would have asked me at 18 if I was still at home after graduating college and, you know, being out of school for like a full year, I think I would have cried thinking that I was still at home, because like I said, I've always been the kind of person that wanted to move out so soon. When I was 15, like, I made a fucking spreadsheet of like all the things I would need and how much it would cost for me to move out of the house. That's insane. But yeah, I've always dreamed of living alone, and hopefully that's gonna happen. But now I'm like more comfortable with the fact that it might happen later on, and it's okay. We don't need to stress about that. So yeah, if you're living at home and you're still in your 20s, that's totally fine. We're on the same boat, and honestly, who gives a shit? We are in the pandemic, and also, pandemic or not, I think as long as you're like, you know, pushing yourself and working towards your goal and taking care of yourself, then that's all that matters. And if you're at home, then who cares? Who gives a shit, honestly? Let's talk about depression and anxiety, because I am clinically diagnosed with depression and anxiety. I am medicated for both. My anxiety is the worst. Depression comes and goes. Like, I definitely go through like episodes or just like times where I feel numbness all around, and I think these are the most like challenging times when I feel numb, because it's like, what is the point of doing everything? Like, I just go into like existent, oh, what is the word? I don't know. Like, when you question everything, you're like, there's no point in life, so why do I even bother? But anxiety I've had since I was a kid. Like, literally, I've always had the worst anxiety. When I first started taking the public transit, the worst anxiety of my life. I would just imagine like the worst possible scenarios, and it took me like a long time before getting comfortable taking the public transit, and look at me now. I am fully comfortable taking the bus, the subway, everything, and I feel great about it. And that's a huge accomplishment, because 18-year-old me would be terrified to take the subway. And I remember the first time I took the subway by myself, I was shaking, quaking, literally almost crying. But I did it, and that's something to be proud. But yeah, just to tell you, like, I've always had anxiety. When I was 13, I had a really bad nightmare, and that nightmare affected me for a few months. I had to sleep in my parents' room because the anxiety was so bad. I couldn't sleep at night without being with my parents. Like, I would not get any sleep. So I literally had to move into my parents' house, into my parents' bedroom at 13 and sleep with them for a few months. And the first time that my dad was like, I think it's time for you to go back to your bedroom, I started crying and bawling, and it was horrible. So yeah, anxiety has always been present, but it obviously has gotten different throughout like the waves of my life. But depression, I think it started when I started university. I got diagnosed in 2019, but I really do believe that it started before that. My worst year ever was 2019, which is so strange, because when I look like strictly at it from like the events in my life, 2019 was a beautiful year. I had some great moments. I was thriving in my friendships, doing great with my family. I went to Hawaii. I was doing YouTube. I loved it all. But the fear and anxiety of the future was weighing on me so deep and intensely that like it was paralyzing. It was paralyzing, and I hated it. And for the first time in my life, I started skipping school. And that's something I had never done in my life before. I've never been someone to skip school. I'm the kind of person that won't do homework, but I cannot skip school, because if I skip a class, that means, you know, for me, like, being in class is like doing 70% of the work. So if I miss a class, it's like I'm missing out on the 70% of the work that I have to like catch up on later, and that sounds horrible. But for the first time in my life, I just had no energy to go to school. I started skipping school. I was just like in a bad mood. I was crying nonstop. It was twice a day, and it's not like just like some little tears. It was full-on breakdown episodes. It was horrible. And I think it only was once I started reaching out for help and asking, you know, to be medicated, that I started becoming like more stable. I was gonna say normal, but like more stable, that I realized what I was going through was not normal. And it took me so long to reach out for help. Why do we do these things, and why do we doubt ourselves so much? I felt like reaching out for help and asking for help meant that I was weak, meant that, you know, I was bothering people and whatever. But what I've come to discover is I do believe that ultimately the selfish thing is to not reach for help, because by not taking care of yourself, you're affecting everybody around you, and that in itself is so selfish. So truly take the time to take care of yourself, because you're doing everybody a service around you. And I think that was groundbreaking for me. It was like, holy shit, me taking care of myself means I'm being nice to people around me. Yeah, I want to do that for myself and for others. So that has been great. I also at this time like started seeing a therapist, and she helped me a lot with like dealing with anxiety, and obviously she talked about meditation and gratitude, and I was just like, okay, I was super close-minded. I was just like, bitch, meditation and gratitude is not going to help me. And all these tips and like tricks that she gave to me, I never used while the time I was seeing her. And then I stopped seeing her because the pandemic started, and it's only like a few months later that I actually started implementing the things that, like the tools that she had given to me. I don't want to be that bitch, but it works. It works. It's so crazy. It's so crazy doing that daily work of like just identifying the things you're grateful for, you know, journaling out your feelings, and just being in tune with like your energy and what you're going through. It helps so much. It's like the accumulation and the repetition of doing those things ultimately will do so good for you. But when you're doing it for like the first time, you're just like, it's normal to be, you know, weirded out, and like obviously this is not gonna work, because why would it? It's so stupid. But yeah, it's crazy having a routine, having a journal, having just honestly like good habits, being grateful. Being grateful. All those things have helped me like so much. It's insane. Much more than I ever thought they would. I can't say that I'm at the place where I want to be, but I'm doing so much better than I used to, and that's amazing, because now I know that, you know, later on in life I will encounter other events that will bring me anxiety and maybe also depression, but now I feel like I'm better equipped to go through them, and I feel confident in that, and that's something to be proud of too. I also want to give a little bit of an update, because I did talk about this on my Instagram, but I asked you guys if I should quit my job because I'm really unhappy. For those of you, I guess I haven't explained it. Sorry, I'm not doing a really good job at it, but I took a job in service work because I was really tired of being home. It's not in my field of study, so it's like not really a serious job, but I'm there and I'm hating it. And I feel like at some point I was really happy going to that job. It really did benefit me, and I loved having structure and a routine back. And honestly, like towards like the month of October, it saved me. I loved it. I'm 24 and I've had so many of these types of jobs, and I feel like right now it's really not benefiting me in any way. So I decided to quit. And I did quit, and I gave my 2 weeks notice, so I'm gonna be done with work in 2 weeks. And that's insane because it's the first time that I've ever quit a job without having like a proper backup. But this job has been stressing me so much. I've been having like eczema, rashes popping on my body, and I know that it's related to stress because I used to get them when I was in uni, but like only during finals week, and now I'm getting them every day. I've been grinding my teeth so bad in my sleep. It's been horrible, and I've developed like a coldness sensitivity because of the teeth grinding. I was making like a list of like pros and cons of like keeping this job, and I realized that other than money, this job is not bringing me anything. And I've never been a quote-unquote quitter, but right now I'm feeling like there's even more disadvantages of staying in the job than, you know, the value of actually making money. Like, yes, I need money, but to what extent and to what circumstances? But yeah, I decided to pick myself. Oh my god, I decided to pick myself first. I decided to put myself first. Oh my god, I can talk. I decided to put myself first, and I quit this job, and I'm really happy about it. And the minute like I printed out the letter and I gave it to HR, I knew it was the right thing to do. I knew it. So absolutely no regrets there. Yeah, and I'm like really excited to go back to like a more chill lifestyle before I eventually find something else, because I do want to work. I just cannot be one of those person who is home all day. It drives me crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully that's somewhat interesting. I don't even know, but it felt great to pour out my heart. And please share your experiences below. I want to know like, how has the pandemic affected you? How are you feeling right now? And if you want to talk, let's talk in the comments. Let's hash it all out. Yeah, hopefully this channel is like a safe space for you all to be comfortable enough to like share what you're going through, and I would love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.